Let's call it what this whole experience has been down to the listening session. This Kanye album is excess. This is an exercise in excess. The album, the build-up, the faux beef for Drake, this is an exercise in excess, and we fell victim to it in the middle of the project.
The Rap Roundtable.
Ladies and gentlemen, the homie Kanye West, whether he wanted to or not, ask Universal, ask whoever you want to talk to, released Donda. I feel like I want to call this almost like a triple album with the amount of songs. 2 hours.
Heavy.
The album is very polarizing on the internet, fellas. So I'm going to pass it over to Sincere the Rap Snob. Of course, let's do the introductions. My bad. It's your homie Jarv alongside Sincere the Rap Snob, alongside Beanie the Balance. We got to do it the right way. Sin, your mans. The floor is yours.
My mans? My mans?
Your mans.
You still my mans?
You still your
I don't
mans.
know. I've been back
mans.
and forth. I've been back and forth. You know what I mean? All right. So people that know me on the show or know the show know that, you know, I've had a love-hate relationship with Kanye. A lot of years of love, a few years of like some shaky hate. The MAGA stuff, Slave Was a Choice. And you dropped some lackluster albums, let's be real. You know what I mean? Ye was not that great. Job, I know you liked Jesus is King when we reviewed it when it came out. You thought it was alright. I thought a couple joints. And so I really didn't know what to expect coming into this album, especially with all the back and forth, all the listening events, songs getting put in and then taken out and then put back in again. It's a lot of up and down, but that's Kanye. There's nothing, you know, what else are you gonna expect out of him, right? So finally the album drops on Sunday, unexpectedly, right? And I'm like, oh snap, I think one of y'all hit me. No, somebody else hit me. And so I was like, oh man, now I got, like Jarv said, now I got to devote like 2 hours of my day.
Bro, I was so depressed when I saw that track list, bro. I was it was Diesel. I was like, yo, what the hell? But coming off of the last listening session, I was kind of excited because we recorded an episode that's going to come out in a couple days, right? And we talked about the listening session, right? So, and then all of a sudden the album drops. But coming off of that listening session, I actually liked a lot of what I heard. And so going into the album now, I'm like, all right, let me listen to this. Now, what I said originally, I was like, yo, I hope he cuts about like 30% out of this, right? From the listening session. Right.
Because it was too much. He ended up adding stuff. I'm like, yo.
That's Kanye.
Yo, what are you doing? But as for the album itself, I really like about 60% of it.
Okay.
And actually, it's like the front 60%, right? From beginning to about track 17, which is a lot of tracks already, right?
Bam.
Now I know there's a lot of people that's gonna be like, yo, this is not the old Kanye. This is not the Kanye I love. We know this. This is not old Kanye is gone, just like old Nas is gone, right? You cannot keep holding on to that old sound, right? And those old expectations. But if I think going into it with like a clear mind and a clear ear and and get the hate out your heart. I know it's hard with Ye because he makes it hard. He makes it difficult. He made it difficult for me. But I got some of that hate out of my heart. And I went into the album and I found myself really digging it.
All right, so Sin, let me jump in, Sin. Let me ask you
hold
this.
on. All right, bet.
You making a lot of strong and positive points about Kanye.
Right.
But what I want to ask you specifically is, what do you say to the people who are calling the album flat out trash? I saw one person call it shark shit, bro.
Wow.
Shark? Why a shark?
I don't know.
Listen, to each their own. Everybody has, their own preferences. This is not an album that's going to appeal to fans of old Kanye, college dropout, late registration, graduate. It's not really gonna appeal to them. You'll hear some sprinklings of some of those, old sounds, but
for the most part, it's not going to appeal to them. If you're a boom bap head, if you a 90s golden era, it's not going to appeal to you. But, and this is coming from me, the rap snob, right? The rap snob. There's some fresh stuff on here. Off the grid with Fabio, and you know, you've never heard me talk about Fabio.
The fact that you said Fabio, I'm going to the store when we leave to get lotto tickets, bro.
Off the grid is crazy. Hurricane with The Weeknd and Lil Baby, crazy. Believe what I say with the Lauryn Hill sample,
fire.
Crazy. There's a few other songs in there. Jesus Lord with the Locks and Jay Electronica. Fire. Also dope, right? This, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff here for a lot of different types of people and a lot of different listeners, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I find myself really, really liking that. I've been playing it since it dropped yesterday. I played it several times through, and a lot of times I start. I'm gonna be real. I'm not big on
So you dedicated like 30 hours to this album already? This is album
already.
I'm not huge on Jail. I think Jail is boring.
Okay.
Even with people were mad that they took the whole verse off of it. But then he put it back on and then also released the version with the baby on it. Mm-hmm. I honestly prefer the version with the baby on it, right? I think the baby spit a dope verse. I also think that it was remixed. There was a different mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm not big on Jail, but starting from God Breathe to Off the Grid to Hurricane, Praise God, Jonah, like I find myself just letting it rock, and I'm digging it. And this, I didn't like Jesus King. I didn't like Ye. I didn't even really like Pablo. Yeah. I haven't really dug a Kanye album since Yeezus. So I think this is probably his best album.
And you know what's crazy? You had to come around on Yeezus. Because I remember when that dropped, you wasn't that
I did have to come around.
Yeah.
I did have to come around. Yeah.
Yeezus has some cuts on there.
Deanie, talk to me, bro.
I'd say, to follow up what Sin said, I'd say more like 75% than 60% for me.
Okay.
There was maybe like 6 or 7 songs I think you should just not trash, but at least removed off the album. That could have been on some bonus.
Right.
But as a project, it's dope. Like there's great music. They gave me some graduation vibes. I got some I even got a Dark Twisted Fantasy vibe on there. You know what I'm saying? Some of the music, like you said, you can't go back to the old, but you can recapture some of the old shit. Yeah. And he did that on a few of these records. And he did keep it modern. He got some new shit on there. I love Jail. The first time I heard it was when we had that crappy sample of it, and it wasn't booming. But I listened to it, and that shit is stadium music, bro. Like, I can hear that in a football game. I thought Hov bodied it, but each his own. I thought the baby. I love the way I love the way the baby came at it. I love the way he kept it. The baby, you know what I'm saying? He didn't switch up. He didn't do anything. He stuck to his guns. The person named, is it Vori, was just monumental to this album. Like everything that person was on, but they said only one song. Like 4 out of 5 songs they were on was just dope to me. And as far as like you said, Jonah, I wasn't a fan of Jonah, bro. I thought Jonah could have been one of the 6. I thought, I believe what you say was fire. 24 was fire.
24
Remote Control was fire. Moon with Tolliver and Cudi, I felt he could have skipped. The Heaven and Hell was fire. My Spirit's Up with the with the Grizzy.
Nah, you mean Keep My Spirit Alive?
Ain't that Remote Control? I'm tripping.
It's alive?
No, yeah, Keep My Spirit Alive. Keep My Spirit Alive.
Yeah.
Copy. Keep My Spirit Alive. Jesus Lord. One thing that did throw me off a little bit, how it ended on the Hoover sample.
Nah, I dug it.
It threw me off from the whole mom aspect, though. I dug it too, where he was going with it, but I felt like it was a tribute album, so he would close out with Mom Dukes.
Right.
I thought like, oh shit, we went to straight, you know what I'm saying, from the Mom Dukes album.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I thought it was a dope album. 6, 7 cuts short, and it could have been a problem. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with a lot of y'all. You know, I think I'm somewhere in the middle between what the internet is saying. Well, that certain segment of the internet is saying that the album was trash, shark, whatever, and you know what I mean. But I think a lot of the reviews of this album is more like are more like personal attacks against Kanye than actually reviewing the music and sitting through it. I'm willing to bet about 35 to 40% of the people who reacted to the album didn't listen to it. They saw the track list and said, you know what, I'm just gonna pan it because that's what we're supposed to do on social media. Like in the meantime, while I talk about the album, I want to pull up one tweet. I'm not gonna say his name, but like he's a fraud. Like the minute I saw his tweet, I was like, this dude didn't listen to the album at all. So I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna read it. But I'm gonna say this to y'all while we're here. I didn't hear y'all say it, but for me, sad to say, after Moon, I feel like the album fell off a cliff. You know, to me, like for the Donda chat, skip. Like, no disrespect, rest in peace to Kanye's mom.
Let me see. After Moon,
big skip.
So track 13.
Yes. To me, after track 13, to me, like I was getting the vibe. Like I was doing my little dinner thing in the kitchen, listening to the album, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a classic Kanye album, but it definitely gave me wavy playlist vibes. I'm like, this is a playlist. This is a kickback album. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got some youth on there. You got some grown men on there. Kanye's Air. Some people said that the beat selection was basic, and I'm like, it's just not. A lot of times Kanye samples things that you don't even know what he sampled until someone actually does a sample breakdown and sit next to you. You got to find a YouTube video to figure out that he reversed this, twisted that, put some reverb on that, and what you call basic is actually super intricate. But the beat selection was dope, and I'm like, this is a good vibe. I didn't get the big Kanye event album vibe. It wasn't like a summer blockbuster, but a good kickback album. And then Heaven and Hell came on, and I'm like, oh no. It's like for my Brooklyn heads, it's like driving on the Belt Parkway and you gunning it. You gunning it from like sunrise. You get on the belt and you get all the way past the Erskine exit, and then all of a sudden traffic disappears. Unexplained traffic. You don't even know why the traffic is there, but it's there, and you're not moving. You was doing like 85, 90, and now you're not moving. That's what this album did to me. And the album, for me, like they had moments like the West Side Gun feature where it picked up for a second. I got to do about 30, and then I went back down to 20 in rolling and bumper to bumper traffic until all the part twos pulled up. And I was like, okay, we back on deck. All the part twos are here. We back on deck again. So it's like the album just became excess. And I think instead of us saying that the album is bad, let's call it what this whole experience has been down to the listening session. This Kanye album is excess. This is an exercise in excess. The album, the build-up, the faux beef with Drake, this is an exercise in excess, and we fell victim to it in the middle of the project. If anybody's here telling me from track 1 to 13 that this album is garbage, you're full of shit. You know, and we're gonna go back there. Yeah, all of y'all who are saying that the album is garbage, especially the first 13 tracks, you're extremely full of shit. Just say you don't like Kanye so we can move on. I will respect that more.
Or it could just be that they don't like, you know, the sonic direction that Kanye has taken as of late. You know, like some people, again, I'm going to go back to this. Like some people will hold on to that, to the, you know, the soul chop sample Kanye. They'll go back to, you know, Kanye with Hove and Kanye with Mos Def and Kanye doing the Alicia Keys, you know, Alicia Keys songs and shit like that.
That might be a bit much for them then.
Right. So, and I love all of that old Kanye stuff, right? But what I appreciate about this, and it's the same thing. Look, listen, a lot of people will say about this album the same thing that they said about Nas's album a couple weeks ago, right? And they're just like, oh, it's new, so it's trash, or it's not the sound that I'm used to, or that I used to love from this artist, so it's trash. Right. And what I hear from like 50 to 60% of this album, the front half of it, I actually felt like Kanye was inspired again. Right. And I'm hearing like sprinklers of inspiration throughout the album. Does it hit a brick wall at some point? Absolutely. He got 27 fucking songs on there. There's no way he was gonna pull off 27 songs. Not today. Maybe 10 years ago he should have tried it, but 10 years ago he was smart enough not to do that shit.
A part of me feels like he was trolling with the 27 tracks, man.
And then I think it's anything to beat Drake, man.
And then he got two like two versions of like 4 or 5 of the songs. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5.
Right.
You got
Jail.
Yeah,
okay,
4 of them.
Jail.
And I'm
Jesus
like,
is
bro,
Lord and something else.
I'm gonna read it to you right now.
Choose one version, or put them together.
Put them. That's what you know what?
There's no reason to have 2 versions of these songs.
After the listening session this past Thursday, I fully expected that the people who were outraged about the artist being removed on, I figured there was going to be a big final version with the Baby Hove and Kanye,
right.
Locks, JLX, everybody just all mashed together into one. Not a bunch of part 1s and part 2s where we playing this DSP game where you just trying to get your streams up by giving you a bunch of tracks to choose from. And speaking of Jay-Z, I meant to get to this sooner, but that verse was garbage. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like,
what?
Like it's not that John Blaze, bro. You know what I mean? The moment was better than the verse. All right, I'm sorry. Maybe the verse isn't trash, but by JLX and Hove standards that we just heard a few months ago, this is the Hove that I heard all 444 that I didn't care about. But that I told y'all all wax. I said I don't want to hear him rap anymore. I don't want to hear this from Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? It sound like they put the beat on. Yo, just come on, Hove, just give me a 16. Give me a 16 album. You know what I'm saying? Y'all made up. Do the look. It's for the look. It's for the look.
I'm not gonna say it's trash, but I feel like he phoned it in.
Oh yeah,
but it's for the moment. You know what I mean?
I got the tweet here, fellas.
Go ahead.
The person says, Kanye album is trash. It sounds like Kirk Franklin light. Its whole tracks were, that's what he says, its whole tracks were, he only does the hook. It's only 3 songs out of 27 that I can even stomach, and it's weirdly depressing, and it was killing my workout. The Griselda track is fucking fire, though. What part of this album is Kirk Franklin? What is he talking about?
Workout.
I think near the end, and I think, and again, like, I think people, even as they're listening to an album, have recency bias, where it's like the last few songs, if they leave a bad taste in your mouth, you're just gonna say the whole shit is trash because the last leg of it was trash.
It's like a movie,
right?
Same thing.
Right. So I can see that the last like 25-30% of it, I got those Kirk Franklin vibes that I just didn't care for.
There was some gospel-y vibes on there.
For sure.
You mentioned something about his mom's. I agree with you. Like the longer this album went, the less it felt like anything to do with Donda West.
It did.
Okay.
And 24 was one of the vibey gospel joints.
Okay.
That was definitely one of them.
So were you disappointed with the fact that he kind of veered away from it being a tribute album towards the end, or?
Especially on the closeout, I feel like what he could have just removed he could have just put that version where the Locks version, where the original version was, and then closed out on something else, and you still would have kept the same song, because the song is just the same thing, just with the Hoover on the end.
Okay.
So for all that, just replace that song with the one with Hoover, put that in the middle, so you can still get your shit off, and you can close out with something about your mother. Like, it just didn't feel like a tribute album to his mom towards the end. We started off with chants, you know what I'm saying? Dun. And then we ended off with Free the Gangsta Disciples, and it just went left for me.
You know what it is about Kanye? My bad. Were you?
Go ahead. No, do it.
No, go ahead.
I like it. Last couple days, I've been feeling like Kanye is the hip hop version of Apple, of what Apple is to tech. Like Apple once upon a time was just like, when they did something, it was elite, innovative, like out of the stratosphere, right? Like shit that you wouldn't even think was like, oh shit, Apple did that. I wouldn't have even thought of doing that, right? And then they got to a certain point, and then it just got kind of like, all right, where do we go from here, right? And I think that's where Kanye's at, just like Apple. But they both still have the ability to bring you something that's dope. But it's just not gonna be like that feeling of like when the iPhone dropped, you know what I mean? Right. Or when Dark Twisted Fantasy dropped. Like, you're not gonna get that feeling, but it's still gonna, like, the numbers is gonna be through the roof. He's number one in like 150 different countries.
Crazy. You said something interesting.
Wow.
You said something interesting, and you said about listening to the album with like a clear head, because that's the way I went into it, bro. I don't have Kanye is Kanye, bro. Like, he does what he does. I don't really hold it. I don't really bug out on him. But I did that. I listened to it with a clear head. Like, just, I don't know what I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna have any idea of what I'm gonna get. I'm just gonna just imagine from what we did. He gave us the listening party with, and bro, like I thought he did all right, bro. Yeah, I was quite impressed, and that was like I said, like the first live show I caught, I wasn't a fan of, but the second one was Heat, and he gave us most of what was on the second joint, if not more than what was on the second joint.
And here's the thing, like the internet today is gonna be like it's either like a classic or it's trash. Like there's no in between. It's not trash. It's not trash. It's not a classic either, and it doesn't live up to like Kanye's elite albums, the best of his best. It doesn't live up to that. But if you take it as, you know, since Dark Twisted Fantasy, we had Yeezus, Pablo, Ye, Jesus the King, and now this, it sits somewhere in the higher range of this last leg.
Okay. Last 10 years or so, knocking the most cuts off of this album than we probably knocked off of any Yeezy album in a long time. More or less.
It's also like a 100-song album, so it's like, you know what I mean?
Right. and going by, like, I don't know how he went. This isn't. I'm gonna give credit. I read this from somebody on Twitter. I would give him full credit, but I don't remember who it was. But it's like, yo, how did he go from from being like, yo, seven tracks is the perfect album length to nearly quadrupling that to 27 songs, bro?
Mm-hmm. You remember what I said on the pod that's dropping Wednesday? Kanye is a contrarian. If you expect him to go one way, he's gonna go the other way. I'll say this, like with the whole 27 track thing and the bloated nature, it just seemed like, you know, that recent Scorsese film that we all got hyped about with all the classic mobsters. Joe Pesci was in there, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. We all got hyped. And then when we watched
the Irishman?
The Irishman. This is like Kanye's Irishman. Like we got hyped. We thought it had all the makings of a classic Kanye album. And then we realized that we were still, much like the movie we were still watching, we were still listening like, yo, this album is still on, bro. Like Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like, but
literally Jesus Christ.
And you get that feeling like, all right, like there's some, you know, there's some sprinklings of brilliance here, but it's clearly past the time.
Like if Kanye stopped at track 13, then we might be having a whole different conversation today.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Damn. Yo, where that GD song was at? I was definitely looking forward to the GD song.
Oh yeah. That's right
about that. I'm not I'm not into the gang stuff, but I like the song. It was good.
It was.
Man. But just real quick, I know we talked about it already, but shouts to the Griselda boys.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, to get that look, be on a Kanye album.
That Kanye verse. Ooh.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Kanye West Side Gun on a Kanye album, that's major, man. That's, you know, shout out to Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the underground, you know what I mean? You keep going, you keep hustling, you know what I mean?
Bars matter.
Yeah. Shout out to Buju with the low key appearance on there.
True.
Sensi was on there too. She got 2 tracks.
Fire.
Shout out to Fabio. If anything, the Fabio Kanye relationship is the thing that I got my eyes on going forward. Because Fabio sounded hella good on his album.
He did.
Rapping.
Again, not a fan, but he was going on. He was spin. What? All right. But what do we say about people that are complaining about too many features on this album?
There you go, Kick Rock, who cares?
Curator Kanye.
Word.
That's what he does.
Look, I don't understand. I don't understand that gripe with a Kanye album. Like, are you new to Kanye albums? Because the minute he came out with his own album, it was like nothing but features on every song. Mm-hmm. Ludacris, Freeway, Mos Def, Kweli, Hove, Twister, like the whole album, the whole College Dropout is one big feature fest. Common.
And then there will be the features that weren't listed. You get the book, and this person was there, and that person was there, and this person did a vocal. Bro, he got a credit for one little harmonized vocal.
Yo, like, I forgot. You showed me somebody that you was talking to that was like, "Yo, classic Kanye wasn't this feature. It wasn't this relying on features." I'm like, "Are you dumb?" Like,
Graduation's loaded. Every album's loaded.
So how many people did All of the Lights have? There was mad people on that one song, bro.
It was like 40 people credited. 40 people credited on that.
Come on, son.
Monster,
what I really think it really is, if it was back to like the Pusha T, Common, you know, those type of features that these heads would like, they wouldn't be complaining about it. But because it's Lil Baby and Fabio and Baby Keem and, you know,
who was fire, by the way. Baby Keem blacked on that album.
Everybody, all the features got off except for Baby.
Wow. But I will say this.
They don't play whole shit in football games.
I will say this: Kanye didn't always let the features completely outshine it. Not always. Obviously, some super MCs, would definitely outshine Kanye. But Kanye would always hold his own. But listening to this album, Kanye's definitely he's not as sharp. Lyrically, he's not as sharp. His delivery is not as sharp. He's not quite as in the pocket. He's not as clever with the bar. Like, he used to at least have like a clever line here or there that you would be like, oh, only
that Hurts
Kanye
line
would say.
is fire, bro.
You gotta go dust off Rhyme-Fest. Go make up with him. You know what I mean? Go get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But fellas, before we pack this up, do we want to give it a score? Do we just want to just leave it at here? 27 tracks, pick what you like, whatever. I don't know. It almost feels like, and somebody was saying, I think Ebro was saying this on the radio, where it almost feels like Kanye's just giving all this to you, and you're like, do what you want with it, make your own, your own track list, your own album out of this. And then Kanye had also been showing off this this wireless device that allows you to control which parts of the song come in and out. And so Ebro was talking about, what if he releases a version with the stems, and then the fans could just play with it like that? Who knows? But it looks like there's something more that Kanye's gonna end up doing with this. But if we want to score it, taking it as a whole, 3.5, 3.75.
Yeah, that's good. 3.75.
I wasn't gonna give it a 4. No, I wasn't gonna give it a 4 because percentage-wise.
But the shit that's good is really good.
Yeah, the shit that's good is fucking good.
I'm gonna give it a calm 3 out of 5.
Damn, y'all.
That cliff, bro. That cliff killed me.
Nigga said 20 miles an hour.
Bro, I was gunning it, bro. I was opening the engine up. It was lit outside. We was lit for Jesus, and then traffic. You know what I'm saying? And like, hey, can't do it. You know what I mean? 3 out of 5. Maybe I'll make my own list with the album I would have put together, and then give that out. Dope. Maybe we should do that on the pod. Our version of Donda.
I got my 19 tracks.
You already know the vibe. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rap Roundtable. Episode 33 is coming out this Wednesday, but we had to talk about Kanye tonight. This version will be out. You want to tap in? What up, Sam?
Hold up. What's Dini score? What's Dini going to give?
I gave it I agree. 3.75 is good.
You agree with me. All right.
I liked a lot of what I liked, man.
My bad. All right.
It's all good.
It's okay. But Wednesday, tap in with us. YouTube, tap in with us. Social media, tap in with us. We'll do this again real soon. Peace, y'all.